Hello and welcome to the official SCFC podcast. I'm Kayla Burns-Hefner here with Marvell Wynn and Sal Zizzo coming to you after match day 6 in the MLS. Guys, no disappointing result on the road, but how are we feeling overall?
I think I was talking to you guys a little bit about this off the pod. I take full accountability. I was in Colorado when we played in Colorado last year, and the result didn't go our way. I was in Colorado for this game as well. So I do believe I shouldn't be a mile high when we play.
Keep them away from Denver.
Yeah, keep me away from Denver. I apologize for that. Other than that, bad day at the office, right? Manu's going back, trying to do what he has to do as a defender. Calls don't go his way and all that stuff. And then, they played well. They capitalized on mistakes that we made. And, when they're so run 'em, gun 'em as they were, and we play where, our keeper holds the ball, it almost gives them a break to rest so that when they do get the ball, they can come back at us. And honestly, they just played a very good game against us when we made a little bit of mistakes. But then again, we also had some upsides with some good possession. We also had a couple opportunities in the first half with Barton and things. So could have gone a few ways, but, this is one of those little bumps, and I'm not too worried. We're bouncing back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm going to look at the positive and say, look how long it took for us to not get a result on the road. I mean, it's been a long time. I think you mentioned, if you want to say it.
I was going to say, for some context there, the undefeated streak for MLS play in regular season matches began all the way back in June of 2025. That was the last loss away from Snapdragon Stadium. And then we've been on a 16. No, sorry. That is not
12
that's
game,
not correct. 12 game winning streak.
Yeah, something like
on the road in regular season.
Unbeaten?
Correct. Sorry, yes. I messed up everything.
She clapped.
She clapped.
Can we pick that up?
So we'll pick it up from when I say, what was it, Kayla?
Yeah. Sorry, I need to collect myself. For
So what was the?
I was trying to read
her
that.
the eyes that she gives us when she's like, "You guys gonna say anything?" You're like, "You gonna say something?"
What is the?
All right. Yeah, for some context there, almost 13 regular season MLS on the road, no losses, draws included in that as well.
That's crazy.
So that that streak began well into the season last year, and has been one that's been held for a very long time. The only team that has, done that is the 2010 team from Dallas, and we're kind of holding with that number 12 with them. So 13 would have broken the record.
Yeah,
there.
and it's tough to do over the course of 2 seasons, right? I mean, there's a lot of turnover, and obviously this year is still in the early going, but they have had a few road results. And look, I mean, it's been amazing how they've played on the road. It didn't go their way. It's, I guess, something bright to look at is like it didn't go their way, but at the same time, there were a lot of things that, from a unlucky standpoint, didn't go their way. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's not a red card against Manu. I know others will say, it's a foul. Maybe at worst it's a penalty in my opinion, but it's not a penalty and a red card decision. I didn't feel like he was pushing him. I felt like he just kind of had his arm and was trying to just get on the other side of him. I think it was Jude, the forward, Judd, did a good job at selling that really well. So credit to him. I mean, that's what you play for. So he did well. He had a good game. So look, I mean, the team has been amazing this far. I know when you combine the Toluca result, the Salt Lake, what felt like a loss at home, and now this one, and you're starting to feel like, oh man, everything's going off the rails. Like, if you just had to put things in perspective, and I think we talked about off camera, that's our first loss in the MLS season. So let's all calm down. Let's all just take a deep breath and realize that it's a long season. We got another game coming up at home, and it's just another opportunity to take care of business and get on the right track.
That's when you're hungry. You want to bounce back, and this team's going to bounce back.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, undefeated actually at Snapdragon Stadium this year too. And I'm just reading back here, this streak, the undefeated streak on the road, actually began against Minnesota in Alliance Field last year in May. So Interesting leading into our matchup this weekend versus Minnesota. How important is that to be able to, you just mentioned bounce back win, but how important is that as players to be able to come back home after a performance like that and, being able to play in front of your home crowd and feed off that energy?
Yeah, for me, it's huge. And playing at home this year was, it was key to start to get results at home. And I think they've shown that early on this season that they've started to make Snapdragon a bit of a fortress. And as long as we can keep it 11 on 11, I think it'll be a good result come Saturday night.
It's always something to look forward to. I mean, you're on a winning streak. You get excited. You're happy to go in. You're talking about the last game, all that stuff. Coming off of losses, you're focused. You're dialed in. You're ready to just get back after it. And being able to do that back at home where you've had success and the other guys are all amped and ready and Frontera's doing their thing, the whole crowd is cheering, the flow starts. I mean, this is where you want to be. And I mean, if Minnesota's going to be our jump off again, I say bring it on.
We'll hear from Lewis Morgan a little bit as he speaks on just what, experiencing this crowd and this community in San Diego has been like for him. We also just put out earlier in the week, it is our community night. We've been celebrating 18 days of community, and we put out an interview with two of our community coaches. So just amplifying more of what this club is doing, not only on the field, but also in the community, in this space. And that's all what we're going to be celebrating at this match this Saturday. It is our community night presented by California Bank and Trust. And everyone in the stand, the first 25,000 fans will receive this captain's pennant, which is, a signature of leadership, unity, everything that this stands for. You see Yeppe walking out with this and exchanging it with the teams on the field. And that is what everyone will be receiving as they're coming into the stadium if you're one of the first 25,000 fans in there. So definitely really exciting for us to be able to have an opportunity to highlight and celebrate everything that this club does that doesn't always get seen. We have great opportunities for people to see it if they're following the, SDFC community channel on Instagram and checking out, what we've been doing there. We've been highlighting it a little bit more of these last 18 days. We've had a lot of activations out in public spaces for all of the different initiatives that this club is dedicated to supporting. But really good highlights of, everything that we like to do and support as a club. And that interview with Yawara and Bianca. And I'm really excited for you guys to get to hear that.
Yeah, I saw when you did that interview, and you know what? They were great. They were a great couple of girls doing their thing in regional community. And also, speaking of community, all of you out there listening, we love you. I am a big fan of SCFC, if you haven't noticed, and I'm selfishly plugging. If you guys see this on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast, or if you see someone on Instagram, like, share, subscribe, do all that for us. Get us more seen, get us out there, because I am missing some SCFC even podcast updates on my YouTube, and that's because no one's sharing with me.
Well, for both of you guys, you've lived and been in the soccer space in this community, in this city. What's your message to this community as being a part of it, as getting to embrace it and, seeing it through this lens?
Yeah, I mean, look, growing up, Marv and I in San Diego, youth soccer has just exploded for sure in San Diego. And I think the timing, may have been even too late, but I'm so happy that we have an MLS team here and that they're involved in the community and everything that SDFC stands for. I think at the root of it is our community in the city of San Diego. And so, I'm excited that the club is continuing to live by those, bylaws of their club, their culture. So and I think Saturday night will just be another example of that. And I'm excited to keep seeing SDFC continue to make a difference in the community because, I coach youth soccer and I already see it with my, young boys that I coach and young girls. I mean, they're all about SDFC. They're always talking to me about the games. They're talking about this podcast. They're talking about, what was this player like? What was this player like? Did you see that goal? Did you watch the game? And so it's pretty cool. It is because I know I would have been one of those kids at the time growing up in San Diego, watching it every day on the weekend like I was, watching the Padres and all the other sports in San Diego. So it's cool.
And love how ingrained this team is with community. I mean, last year with the Chrome Ball tour, I was able to go to a couple of them, even essentially kind of be a little host for the one back in my hometown of Poway. And the fact that they're keeping it going this year with all the community events and all that stuff, it really means a lot. And I mean, I'm all the way up in Oceanside, all the way up North County, basically. I'm in Oregon.
That's up for debate still, right?
Yeah.
Poway. Is Poway considered North County?
Poway is North County. It's not San Diego.
Okay.
Some of it's part of the
Okay.
so
No, I've always heard that's up for debate. I don't know.
either way, love that SCFC is so part of the community and it brings people together. And I love seeing different jerseys, different hats, different shirts and stickers, magnets. They're really making an impact. And if it's not completely obvious to everyone, I think it's going to be the more they keep going for it, because I think this team is really something special for San Diego.
And his team is fully committed to showing up in these spaces. A lot of these players that we've introduced you to on this podcast have been out activating in these communities and, help coaching the kids and, answering questions and kind of serving as mentors to a lot of the youth here, which is so important to this. But also, if you are wanting to show up to this game, every ticket purchase also helps support programs that expand access to soccer, strengthen our neighborhoods, and uplift the communities of San Diego. So if you're looking for a way to contribute, this match would be the option for you. So really excited to see all of that on display and for everyone to learn about just all of the different things that we're doing in this space, and really excited to continue helping the community.
Hear, hear.
See you there. Snapdragon Stadium, 7:30 p.m. kickoff this Saturday. As the official specialty insurance partner of San Diego FC, Palomar offers standalone earthquake insurance that protects property and peace of mind. It's crucial to be prepared. Visit plmr.com or contact your insurance agent for a quote. Palomar, reimagining specialty insurance with innovative, creative solutions. This player interview is brought to you by Adriana's Insurance. Save more, enjoy life. All right, we are joined by forward Lewis Morgan. Lewis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see
Appreciate you
Happy to
being
be
here. All right, first, we want you to walk it all the way back to the very beginning. How did your soccer journey begin?
That's a good question. I don't know. As long as I've been conscious, I guess, and my brain, I've been playing football. So obviously growing up in Scotland, it's like we're not as multi sport as what the US are. We don't have like basketball, American football, baseball. You have every young boy in Scotland wants to be a football player. Like 99% of them. Then you have some rugby guys, maybe some golf or whatever, but it's just sort of ingrained in culture over there that everyone grows up playing football. Every family's by and large a football family. So probably I was lucky enough to have an older brother, so I'm sure, and he's told me stories that before I was walking, he was trying to have me kick a football and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just something that from a very young age played in the house, played with my big brother, and then went through all the various like youth soccer and then into like academy football, and yeah, here we are now.
Do you have like the first memory that you have recorded in your brain of playing?
Actually, I'd have to think of one now. No, I don't really have like a standout memory. I just always remember whenever I was younger, I always had a football. Never, even if I was in the house, I would be kicking a ball against the wall, like a little sponge ball or something. If not, I was out just kicking the ball against the wall or playing with my brother, and just always, I was never without a football, So yeah, I think that was basically just the biggest part of my childhood was playing football.
If like so many people like wanted to be pro footballers, like how many were you like the only one of your boys that made it, or were there like a few of you guys grew up playing together and all that?
Of like my school friend group, yeah, I was the only one that made it professionally, but from where I grew up in Scotland was sort of like a little hotbed for football players. So people that I was really, really close friends with and that I went through academy football with did come from my area. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah, people that I was friendly with at a very young age became professional footballers. Greg Taylor, for example, played in the Scottish national team, has played hundreds of games for Celtic. Me and him grew up together. We live minutes away from each other, and we're from a very small town in Scotland that fortunately has always produced players. So it's a little bit of a hotbed, like I say, and I think becoming a professional football player there is very competitive, because the standard of youth football is so high because it's the sport everyone's playing. So you definitely feel that. I wouldn't be able to speak on the system here, but speaking from my experience over there, it's very difficult to be one of the people who does break through. So I think it's just being grateful that, of course, there's hard work in that, but you do need luck along the way. Because I played with loads of people who are at the highest level that I look at now, or maybe they come up on Instagram and they're not playing football at all anymore. And I'm like, well, this guy was an unbelievable player. So
Plus, you have that actually competitive side with your older brother. How much older?
he was born in 91, so 5 years older.
5 years old, and he
years
wanted you
old.
to go out there. Did you play
Yeah,
with
and
him?
he always tells me, he was like, when we were younger, he would tell his friends to never go easy on me and like
There
hit
you
me as
go.
hard as they could. So,
Yeah.
and I'd probably be crying, and he would like, he tells me stories about me crying and running inside and him going in, grabbing me, pulling me back outside, his friends kicking me harder. All this I don't remember, but he says that one of the reasons where I got to was like the harsh treatment that he put on me. So
So it
I
either
guess-
made you stronger or it made
yeah.
you faster.
yeah,
It's one of the other ones, or both.
exactly. Or both.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A lot of our viewers probably don't have a sense of, what Scotland is like, or maybe the town that you're from. Can you give us kind of a picture of where you're from?
I'm from like a little seaside town in Scotland, which is very quiet. There's nothing really going on. It was one of those places that for my mum and dad's generation was, I guess, where everyone wanted to live. And then no one
For the
wants to
younger
live there.
generation.
And now it's like, it's such a slow pace of life. There's not loads of things going on. It's a really, really nice, like picturesque town. If you can imagine Scotland, there's lakes, rivers, mountains, a lot of green grass, a lot of golf courses, a lot of football pitches. But when I was growing up, the only thing to do was play football or golf. So that's why I think, and that's basically a lot of Scotland, to be honest. Outside the major cities, there's not a ton of things to do. Obviously, we're blessed here in the climate here that you can go and do a different thing every day of the week and never run out of things to do. In Scotland, by and large, it's not really like that. You sort of make your own fun. And as a young kid, it was just playing football all the time.
So you grew up at the Rangers Youth Academy?
Yes.
So how did that process? How did you get into that?
So I had this sort of unconventional journey in football. So in Scotland, 99% of young players play boys club football, it's called, and you're playing games every single week. I played for what they called as like a football academy. So we would train 2 times a week, Thursday and Sunday, never play any games. So we never played, maybe once a year you would play like one weekend you'd play a couple of games, but all the training was just about like football technical drills and stuff. So left foot, right foot, just working on the fundamentals of football without there being any games. So I never played.
There's some like that's happening a little bit more, I think, often than maybe it used to at the time. But I do know of a few places in the US that are similar, maybe not as extreme where it's, but they do focus primarily on training and less about games.
Yeah. And I'm not, there's no right or wrong way, right? But that academy did have a lot of success and producing players, like I say, from a small town that went on to play professionally and even represent the national team. So it worked.
Yeah.
And so it was very difficult it got to a point where I needed to subsidize that with playing games, because eventually the academy ran until you were, I don't know what age, can't remember, maybe 10 or 11. And then the next step was you went to a local team, like a local professional team, but they were sort of down the pyramid. So my dad asked permission for me to play with another boys club on the side just to play games,
Mm-hmm.
which the academy let me do. And then within 1 or 2 weeks of playing games with another boys club, or like a few weeks, Rangers have scouts all over the country, and they'd saw me, and then it was like my dream. That's
So
my
how old were
boy.
you at the time?
I
when
would
you-
have been 8 or 9.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
so pretty early.
And that's like my dream,
Yeah.
like playing for Rangers. Couldn't
Is
believe it.
that the from your town supported Rangers?
No, I
or
mean
no?
Scotland. Everyone in Scotland, I would annoy people by saying everyone in Scotland has a sports Rangers Celtic. That's not true.
Yeah.
Everyone has the team they support, but
Yeah.
a lot of Scotland veers one side or other
Yeah.
on the divide.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really say where I was from was predominantly Rangers or
Okay.
Celtic. But my dad was his side of the family were all Rangers fans. My mum's side of the family were actually Celtic fans, which is kind of strange. But that was my dream. I had a season ticket at Rangers, and I went to all the games with my nana, who's obviously since passed away. But that was like, couldn't believe it when my dad told me that I was going to get to go on trial there.
My coach was John Spencer.
Yeah.
and also I played with Chris Boyd.
Okay, yeah.
So Rangers legend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a Rangers legend. I've watched a few of his goals at Ibrox.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when my dad told me that I was going there on trial. I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
And then I also went on trial at the same time as we were going there. My dad made me go on trial because Celtic also wanted me at that point. But I was a young kid, so I was like, oh, I want to go to Rangers. And,
yeah.
I was in their academy from 8 or 9, depending on when I signed, all the way through until 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then you ended up playing for Celtic.
Yeah, so there's a step in between. So I got released from Rangers when I'm 16. And
What was that like? Like they just felt like they didn't want to promote you with the first team, pretty much. What were your options after that?
I mean, the writing was sort of on the wall for me. Okay. I was a really late developer. I know loads of guys say that, but I was tiny, like so small. And when the transition, I was always one of like the better players at 7-a-side football. And when we transitioned to 11-a-side, I was just so small. I couldn't get around the pitch. Probably the ball looked stupid. Like, so then you play with size 5 ball.
Yeah.
And in fairness to the Rangers, they gave me like a year. I went down an age group to play. And then I didn't even get a game with them. So the writing was sort of on the wall. And then eventually I got a letter. I found out I'd been released by a letter, like that I received in the post before. Because it was a letter that was inviting me to the exit trials, which is basically in Scotland. It's like trials or like a showcase of all the players who are like free agents or
released or whatever.
I say free agents. We're like 16 years old, but
16-year-old free
no
agent.
longer with an academy.
no longer with a like unattached.
Yeah.
So you go there as a showcase for like I don't know if it was 1 day or 2 days, but I got a paper like a letter inviting me to that.
Okay.
So I was like, I knew anyway.
Yeah.
But that's how I first found out, and then I had like an end of year meeting, and they said they weren't going to offer me a full-time contract. A lot of my age group had been full-time for 1 year already. So when you're like 15 or 16, they were, and I wasn't offered a contract, then stayed another year, like still in school, whilst the rest of my age group were full-time.
Okay.
And then that probably, again, maybe made the gap a little bit bigger in terms of like physicality stuff. And eventually, like, they did say like it was more to do with like physical development at that time that
yeah.
And then I went to the exit trial in St Mirren, picked me up, who again like a smaller team in terms of stature, but it's developed so many good players. There was a clear pathway from going to the first team there. So I had been so far behind my age group at Rangers and been released, and then within 6 months, I would say, I was now on the bench for the first team at St Mirren.
Oh, wow.
In the top division, whilst the players that I played with at Rangers were not even getting a sniff at first team football. So it changed so fast for me. And then I owe so much to St Mirren. I had an amazing 3 or 4 years there. And then that's when the move to Celtic came about, which I feel like I'm rambling on here. But
Go for it.
yeah, so listen, I always found it was easy or the best practice was just to be honest. In Scotland, it's a goldfish bowl, so there's a lot of obviously animosity between Rangers and Celtic and the divide.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily have said when I signed for Celtic that I'm a big Celtic fan,
Mm-hmm.
but that would have I'd just been lying, and everyone around me knows that I grew up a
Yeah.
Rangers fan. There's also pictures of me with Rangers
Yeah.
strips on when I'm like 4 or 5. When I signed for Celtic, the first day I signed for them, in the newspaper the next morning was me as like a 7-year-old, 8 or maybe like 10-year-old, and I've got a Rangers strip on.
Yeah.
So it was always going to. People always ask me,
Yeah.
and like it's a little bit controversial, and I totally get it. Those clubs are massive. There's, and they are so passionate about their club. What I would say is, at that time in my career when Celtic wanted me, it was life-changing for my family, and for myself in terms of I was at a smaller club. You're not earning crazy money.
Yeah.
They gave me an amazing platform, and then you get life-changing money that I know is going to help my family, but also I'm going to develop as a player going to a massive club. Like, yes, I'm a Rangers fan, and Rangers fans wouldn't, and I would probably have been the first one when I was in school saying, I'd never play for Celtic. But it's different when you're thinking about your family.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that was, I was thinking I can help my parents out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of this as a job, what's going to develop me as a player. And that's why I signed for Celtic. People, I don't think, I know I'm not number one on the Christmas card list for Celtic fans, but I would never be disingenuous and say, I'm a Celtic fan and lie,
Yeah.
But I did give my all every single day I was at the club to try and be the best teammate and best player for them, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, sometimes you're in the right place at the wrong time, wrong place, wrong time. I don't know what it was, but I've not a bad word to say about my time there. It was a big moment for me and my family, and I gave my all every single day there. But yes, people always ask me, how did you play for Celtic if you're a Rangers fan?
Yeah, that was coming up. That was coming
what I'll
up.
say, without throwing anyone under the bus, like it happens more than you think.
Yeah,
like
for
I'm
sure.
not the only guy. I might be one of the only guys that
You're honest about it.
was sort of honest about it, but there's more people in those changing rooms than you think. You can always just avoid the question, but I've always figured,
Yeah, good.
like,
Did your family support you when you were playing for Celtic?
yeah, of course,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And like I always, my job as a footballer at Celtic, when they're giving me that opportunity to play, was to try and do my best, and I've done that every single day, and family supported me. And as of now, I always want to see my former teammates do well. And there's some people still playing at Celtic that I played with, and I wish the best for them.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a Rangers fan. People don't understand.
You were born
that.
into it
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
And I totally get that. Like, I 100% understand people that would be like, how could you
Yeah.
play for the team you like? Because there's a lot of it's it's probably the biggest rivalry in sports. Not even football, in sports. So
I don't know if Americans can understand it because in, Yankees, Red Sox, like it's not, players play for those teams, so there's a bit of that, but like from a cultural, historical,
without like putting down Yankees, Red Sox.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not American. I'm guessing it's that times 1,000.
Yeah. God.
So, and then you always want to defend your club, right? So, but yeah, basically, long story short, for what I call that out, I grew up a Rangers fan, but I represented Celtic. And
Is what it is. Respect from both sides. Yeah.
Familiar with Mo Johnston?
Yes.
He
That's
drafted-
a higher profile version of what.
Yeah, he drafted me.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of college, and he was the one that kind of.
He was the first player, I believe.
Do I remember?
First or second player to do that. But yeah,
You played for both.
he played for both, and it was very high profile at the time. But yeah, I mean, grew up a Rangers fan, went to all their games, and then I played for Rangers Academy for 9 or 10. I also think that makes things a little bit different when I played for Rangers and been released.
Yeah.
Had I never played for Rangers, would my decision have been different? Maybe. But I always felt like I sort of had a point to prove.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
What was the transition like then to the MLS?
Yeah, I mean, it was never like the MLS had started gaining a lot of popularity in the UK at the time. And then it'd never really been on my radar, but then my agent had said that I knew obviously about Inter Miami, and they were getting a ton of the media exposure in the UK because David Beckham.
Yeah.
And he'd asked me what I thought about it. But when he asked me, I was like, I don't know if this is one of those questions. It just goes nowhere. But then once I realized that it had legs, I was always like, that sounded like an amazing opportunity that I couldn't turn down, you know. And things at the point at Celtic weren't going great. Like, I was in and out of the squad and just wanted a fresh start. And yeah, I came here 2020, so I've been here for, what's that, 6 seasons? 7th season now. So I think I've almost played in the MLS more than I've not played in it. So it's just weird to think about.
Quick, it comes quick.
It comes
Yeah.
quick. More like #2 speed. I think.
So you get here, you've now lived in Miami, New York, and now San Diego. And that's your time
It's quite
in
good,
America.
right?
It's quite a good track record.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been one of the lucky ones, to be fair. I played in 3 amazing markets, you know, and San Diego's no different. And on the football side of things as well, there are 3 great clubs, you know, and I'm lucky and fortunate enough to be here and don't take that for granted. I think the club's building something special, and yeah, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Not to talk down on the competitive football side of things here, but is it almost a breath of fresh air coming from not from such? There's not much pressure playing with over there in Celtic,
Yeah.
and started with Rangers. So coming here, is there a feeling of relief because the competition on the pitch is obviously the same, but the idea of there's anonymity when you go outside and you can actually live quite normally as opposed to getting kind of attacked everywhere.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd say like the off the field stuff, for sure, there's less pressure in terms of the off the field stuff. On the field, I feel like loads of the pressure in football was like internalizing pressure you put on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing on the pitch, you're not thinking about. When you're playing the pitch, you can't even really hear the fans, to be honest. Like,
You're thinking
unless
about
you're
what your job
consciously
is.
thinking about that,
Yeah.
which is a really weird concept. When you tell people will be like, "How can you like hear?" And it's like, well, weirdly,
Your focus is just so.
You're not really-
Yeah.
during spells of the game, if it goes out for a throw in or whatever, then you hear the fans or you hear like moments throughout the game. But when you're like really playing in the game and your focus is on it, you're not really feeling that outside noise. Of course, you hear our fans like before and after and during those snippets of the game because they're loud. But the pressure, I feel like, always comes from yourself, and the pressure you put on yourself to perform. Obviously, it's completely different when I'm in Scotland. Off the field stuff, you hear about it more. It kind of is in there's no escape from football. Like, you go home, you hear about football. Your friends are Celtic fans, or your friends are Rangers fans, and they're talking to you about it. Whereas here, I think there's a way better balance of. I wouldn't say the pressure on the pitch is any different because, like I say, the pressure is what you put on yourself. The pressure off the pitch and the outside noise is maybe, or not maybe, but it's definitely less, which I do enjoy. But I also enjoy that aspect and living the 24/7 as well. So it's just different, I would say. I wouldn't say there's one that's better or worse.
Okay. Fair.
When you went to Miami, it was their first year, so it was an expansion.
Yep.
So you have experience
Yeah.
with being a part of a new club. And then you come here, and I think one of the first things you said in media experience or your media opportunities with this club is saying like this club doesn't feel like it's one that's you know brand new. Can you explain from your experience like what you mean when you were talking about that?
Yeah, when I went to Miami, it's hard to compare because when I went to Miami, it was completely different. COVID had hit.
Yeah.
So we were trying to build a culture, but we weren't able to. We didn't even really share. We couldn't share a locker room, so it was harder to build. It takes time to build culture. In Miami, you look at it now; they've definitely built a culture. They're definitely built a winning culture there, but it just probably it might have taken them a little bit longer just due to the hand that they were dealt. Whereas when I came here and I actually played against San Diego in preseason last year, and I tell you, it did not feel like I was playing an expansion team because
that was the coming out party kind of.
It was like I think it was
San Diego's
6-0.
Best
and
result in
I was
preseason.
like, whoa. So coming here, I don't know how to explain it. And when I got here, it just felt like if I had just been dropped in here, I would tell you that Yeppe has been here for 5 years. Anders has been here for 4 years. Even the young guys, they've probably came through a whole academy.
Yeah.
And they've probably been in the academy system here for 6-7 years. And now they're in the first team. And then you tell me, all these guys just showed up here last year. That didn't really feel like that. And then the training ground as well. Yeah, I think it just doesn't feel like an expansion team. And when I was in Miami, probably I enjoyed the fact I got that expansion like experience and seeing the club grow, and I love my time there. The fans there were really, really special as well, and I think just knowing how hard it is to build a culture, which Miami 100% have culture now, and they did when I was there as well. We were just building that. It just feels like San Diego have built it very successfully, really quickly, and it's about how we can sustain that and compete with Miami and all these other teams.
What was kind of your experience, like you said, seeing San Diego from the outside and then, getting to be a part of it now? What's been your experience like so far with the club?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the move was sort of coming about, everyone was telling me that San Diego's the best place on earth, and you go there and you'll never want to leave. And
they're right.
Yeah, I definitely understand what they were saying, and no, it's obviously an amazing place to live. My girlfriend will be moving out here, which again, once that happens as well, I'm sure I'll enjoy it even more. And that's in terms of like living in San Diego. Is just a completely different speed to living in New York, But the most important thing is the football, and I think coming to a team that is fighting to win things is what it's all about. I've been fortunate enough to play in finals throughout my career, actually everywhere apart from Miami, regrettably. I've played in cup finals or anything, every other club I've been at, and I feel like I'm at a club where that's in the vision. That's what we're aiming for, and that's what we know we're capable of. So I'm looking forward to hopefully doing something special with a great group of guys and great coaching staff and everyone around the club like you guys. So it'd be good to be a part of the first team to really, really win something here.
Have any of them taken you under their wing? Taking you out to coffee or go to a golf course or anything?
Yeah, we managed to play a good amount of golf. There's a few of us.
Have you played Torrey Pines?
Not played Torrey Pines. I've missed the Torrey Pines tee times.
Oh man.
Both times we've played, so I've had something going on. But that's obviously on the list to play Torrey Pines. But me, Chris, Bryce, Oscar, Wilson plays. Some of the younger guys are all playing, so everyone loves it. I mean, obviously the golf out here is great. So it's. I also think it's really beneficial for guys to have something outside of football that it's like an active recovery, right? And takes your mind off things. And I've always been a big fan of golf, not just because I like golf, but I think it serves like a purpose in terms of recovery and regulating your system, and on a day off or after training early in the week, obviously never close to a game, but I think it's like a really good tool, and like loads of the guys love playing as well, and we managed to find the right times to do so.
Yeah, so you're gonna play golf or take a cold plunge into the ocean, or
Yeah.
you showing what's up on the
Yeah.
golf course, or what? You got some stiff competition.
Yeah, no, the standard's actually really, really good. Chris has been playing really, really well
I was
recently.
gonna say, how's Chris's golf game?
He's
'Cause
been
he
playing
talks
really
about it
well.
a lot.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He's been playing really well recently. I'll give it to him. Yeah, we get out. We try and get out. I would say try and get out like once a week if we can. If not, once every couple of weeks.
That's great.
But Chris has been playing really good from when I got here to now. Like you can definitely see he's been putting in the work. So he's watching.
He's got lessons.
He
on
just
the side.
sends. I just get an Instagram notification, sent a reel, click on. It's like a new swing thought.
It's his
you know?
scorecard for the.
Yeah, it's a new swing thought. But no, we have a. There's a good. The standard's pretty good to be honest. So, yeah, I've got a target on my back. So, see, I know Chris is maybe catching me.
Do you think that you're at the top on the team right now?
I think stroke index wise, yeah, I would be the top, but
You
yeah,
do have
honestly,
the advantage, the home.
I probably should have the advantage because Scotland invented
You
golf.
invented golf.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
but no, like Chris, we played the other day and Chris played better than me, so yeah, maybe he's going to catch me. So I need to start watching some more videos like he is. But yeah, I think I would still be statistically, I would be the top. So see how long that lasts.
Off the pitch in my notes, I have that you also like fashion, real estate, and coffee.
It's true, yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Coffee. I never even liked coffee till I went to New York, and then, I don't know, just again another way to like sort of switch off away from football, and I enjoy coffee. I enjoy going to different coffee shops. I enjoy making my own. I'm one of those people like I don't want. If someone makes me a coffee in the morning when we come in here, I'm raging because I like the whole process of making my own coffee. Yeah, coffee, and then real estate stuff. I don't know. I probably got into it from watching like the Netflix shows, and you see all the glamorous stuff. And
The one, the New York one.
yeah, all
You know, buy something in San Diego or what? Yeah, it's a little bit expensive.
Easier.
But yeah, I'm fortunate enough to own a home in New Jersey,
Okay.
and then try to buy a few other places. But yeah, it's just something that when I'm done playing, I would like to do some form of like property stuff. Interest me. But I always say this, like, I'm interested in all those things, but it's more like in the back of my mind because I feel like in this sport, you need to be 100% focused on this sport because if you're not, someone else is.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start thinking, oh, I'm going to start investing all my time in this property thing, and
It'll pass you by real quick.
before you know it,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 games have gone by. You've not been playing well, or like your focus is somewhere else. Like football is all about embracing competition. There's always going to be someone behind you or maybe someone in front of you. And I think if I'm not 100% in it, like I say, someone else is. So I do enjoy like fashion, like golf, enjoy like real estate stuff, coffee, but there has to be a balance. 95% of the week, I'm not thinking about any of those things. Maybe if, like I get a little bit of time thinking about it, but yeah, that's really, I don't really have many other hobbies outside of those. So
When it comes to fashion, you gotta come up quick on those game day fits because
True,
there's a lot of that in the
yeah.
locker room too, right?
yeah, there is a lot, so it's going to be probably expensive. Yeah, at Red Bull we had the game day fits, and then they took it away, and it was just. I used to enjoy the game day fits, and then we went to like the club outfits, and I was like, oh, this is kind of nice because I don't need to buy
Like school
a ton of new
uniforms.
clothes.
Like,
And now
everyone-
it's back,
yeah.
so now I'm like, oh,
So
Yeah.
you just pull a
An
noni and
excuse
just
to
show
buy
up
some
in
stuff.
team gear.
Yeah.
And you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think Alex was the top last year, right?
yeah. There's a few guys that really like. There's guys that have their own fashion brands. I'm not. That's not on the cards for me. Like I'll leave that to Alex and to Brian.
You're like, okay, relax.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think it's great. Again, like they have like a passion for that. I'm not at that level. I like buying nice clothes and try to dress up. Like, I'm not usually one to like roll out of bed. I've usually got what I'm going to wear the next day out the night before in person.
That still takes a lot of thought. I can't even do that.
And that's on me.
Back to the pitch a little bit, you know, where you're 95% there. When you told us in the beginning of the year what your play style was, the quote you said is make the defense think and try to make their life a nightmare.
Yeah.
Give us a little more insight on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously first and foremost, I feel like it's been a little bit of a slow start for me here. I mean, there's loads of reasons you could think and try and make excuses. Obviously I've been out for a year, so I don't think anyone, including myself, has saw the real version of me yet. Which is sort of like frustrating for me, but my play style is almost like 100% flat out all the time. And I think building up fitness and building up everything, that's hopefully going to be evident in the coming weeks. But just trying to do things that defenders don't enjoy doing. They don't enjoy facing their own goal. So if I'm making runs in behind, I know they don't like that. I'll speak to some of the guys and speak to some defenders throughout my career about things they don't like to face, and then actively try and do that all the time. And I think just being relentless, and I'm someone who is desperate to score. You know, team always come first, will always come first, but I think forward players are always a little bit selfish in that if we win 5-0 and I've not scored, I'll be delighted we've won 5-0, and then at home I'll be like, how have we scored 5 and I've not scored? You know? So having that coupled with never letting it be a detriment, but having that drive to score every single game, every single day in training is like just the mindset I think most forward players have. And I'm no different, so hopefully I can start banging them in soon.
Awesome.
Well, we got some fan questions for you.
Yep.
Not too many of them, but we'll dive into them. The first one is, what is your favorite Scottish food?
What is Scottish food?
I think I'll
Fish and
That's a great
chips.
I'll probably
question.
get my passport revoked if I don't say haggis. So I'll just say haggis. And before you ask what haggis
What-
is,
yeah,
I get
please
asked all the
explain.
time. Actually, I get asked all the time, look up all the time, and forget all the time. I don't know what it is. Something to do with sheep, but it's basically like a bunch of different parts of like sheep, but it's in. I'm gonna get this wrong.
Sounds lovely.
I'm gonna get this wrong, and feel free to come at me. But it's something I think they preserve it in the stomach lining of.
Yeah, like the
It's like
intestines. or
sausage,
something.
right?
I don't know.
Not really a foodie like that, but
We can look it up.
haggis. It
Haggis.
basically tastes like a sort of peppered meat. Like it tastes better than
Let's
it
look
sounds.
this up.
Yeah, it's not sounding
But you don't
appetizing,
eat it
but-
all the time. People think we eat that all the time. You eat it like some people probably eat it all the time, but I would eat it like once a year.
Okay.
So you
Like
don't
fancy.
think you can
special
start
occasion.
a haggis burrito in San Diego?
I bet it would,
So it's a
haggis burrito
it's
would
a
be really nice.
savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, heart, liver, lungs, minced with chopped onions, oatmeal. A lot of
And something about stomach,
doesn't
I'll
say
try it
stomach.
after this.
something about it's kept in, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's kept in the encasing of the stomach. Yeah, lining, heart, liver, lungs. Yeah,
but
sounds great.
it actually does, it tastes like, you close your eyes and eat it, it would taste like a peppered, some form of like peppered meat.
like a sausage type. Yeah, I
Yeah.
with
I
you.
say
I
start a
trust
haggis
the
burrito.
vision. I trust the vision.
But the consistency, the texture is like, it's like minced meat. It's like,
Yeah, super thin.
so, yes, pretty strange. Should
All
try
right.
it.
All right. We'll let you know. This next one is, what's your favorite San Diego restaurant?
Good question. There's a place called La Dolce Vita in La Jolla, which does like an amazing penny vodka and ribeye, which I never thought of that combination, but it's like penny vodka with a ribeye on the top, and it's very good. But there's a ton of nice places. I've not actually got to see them all. Seneca in downtown's really nice. La Jolla has a few places. But yeah, I'd probably say like favorite so far would be there.
There's a lot of food ones in here.
Have you had Mexican food? Yeah. Have you had like a California
Yes.
burrito?
Yeah.
I'm not really a burrito guy. I'm more
No.
taco guy.
Okay.
Where's your
or
favorite
like
spot?
a bowl. That's a good question. I like Puesto, which is, and then like the taco stand I think's pretty good. I've not actually tried too many of like, they're like the main two I've tried.
Like
so far.
hole in the wall type places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need to. There was one other place I like a really small hole in the wall place that I tried in La Jolla. The name's escaping me now, but I'll get back to you on that one
Yeah.
when I find the spot.
Please enjoy. A lot of good restaurants out here, man.
Yeah,
Try them all. Go
Yeah.
for it.
The portions are really big here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like
America,
bigger
yeah.
than New York though. I mean,
Yeah.
which you would never bigger than New
I could
York,
see
New
that,
Jersey.
though.
I've never like my girlfriend ordered a breakfast sandwich one day. It was
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call it. It was
If you get any
enormous.
type of burritos
It
from
was
Taco Shop,
enormous.
it's massive. Yeah. It's
Like
massive.
it was 4 people could eat it. I thought like California, everyone's going to the beach, everyone's probably looked after their body. The portions would be small, but
No.
it's not the case.
We're outside a lot. We burn a lot of calories.
That's true. That's one way to look at it.
And then I got another one here for you. What's your favorite thing about San Diego?
Favorite thing about San Diego is, I think like the passion of the people here, the fans. I think I've been like one of the first things when I came here that I was asking was what's the stadium like? What's the experience like at the stadium? And everyone says fans are unbelievable, and that like is what players want to play in, that atmosphere. I know I touched on earlier saying when you're focused in the game, you don't necessarily like hear 100% of the time, but it's special playing in front of people like that who are so passionate, and I think they're so passionate about the club here, and all the people are great. So I'd say that the weather's all right as well.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks for coming
thanks
on,
for
man.
having
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks a lot,
the
man.
time.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully, I didn't say it too controversial.